The locals call it La Colina, but its official name is Circuito Internacional de Malaga. It's the 10th race of the HARC Pro Series. Mike Visnovsky, fresh off his win at Outlon Park, sits on the pole. He's hoping for a bit of momentum going to this race. We're green flag and ready to go for 26 laps of racing. Visnovsky's trying to pull off to a lead as Ali Nelson and Tony Green battle for second place. A couple of penalties on the grid. Brandon Chrasta started dead last after his Outlon Park shenanigans. William Duncan got docked 15 spots. John Christchurch docked 11 spots on the grid, though Christchurch still started up in the top part of the field. First incident would happen early on. Matt McIntyre, car number 58, battling with a couple other drivers. He's going to get turned early on by Zachary Fitzwater Sr. He goes sliding in front of traffic. It's going to collect a couple other drivers, Sekuli, Irvine, and Dumian. Everyone's going to get away with it except for the two of Josh Sekuli. He would end up going out of the race. He's got heavy damage to his co-part number 2. So a quick end for the number 2 machine, who's not had a lot of luck this year. You can see him just struggling to get through Daytona on the racetrack. Everyone else would continue onward. Car 61, Henrietta Fitzwater out of Australia, gets 4 wide going through that section of the course. I don't know how he survived that. Nicholas Guerra, Jeffery Finguy, and Jerry Guerra up to the outside. So 2 Guerras involved with that one. They also and they wreck later on. Contact is made. A couple of cars get together, and the 61 of Fitzwater's around. Car number 36, Alex Rowe, gets a hard hit in that machine. A couple other drivers involved in this one as well. Chrasta, Sanjuro. Big stack up. What happened here? So it looks like the 61 got turned around, and Alex Rowe picked the wrong line. Gets absolutely flung through that section of the course, and he would be done for today. A couple other drivers going out in that incident as well. Some days cut short. Alex Rowe tries to limp it back. The 61 of Henrietta Fitzwater is now completely done for this lap. She's trying to get that injured number 61 back to pit lane to try and fix this car up. Carl and Dumian decides to help her get to the garage area quicker. Makes some contact with the 61. That breaks the engine on the 61 machine. The Mr. Sub car would go out of the race. As a shame for Henrietta Fitzwater, who was hoping to potentially salvage that car. But out already. A little help from Carl and Dumian. I'm not sure if he expected that to work or what Dumian was thinking there. Visnovsky led early on, but car number 96, Ali Nelson, tries to go for the lead on lap number 3. She gets it done. Ali Nelson, the Denali team, has had a lot of speed throughout the year. Tristan Wilhoit started up in the grid in qualifying many a time, but they've just not been able to seal the deal yet. Ali Nelson hoping to get Denali its first win for the year. Gets by Visnovsky in the 23 and starting to pull away. So Ali Nelson having a good car underneath her today. She's trying to get it to a great finish today, as Tony Green trying to battle for that position as well. Car 0, Kaloa Hankins, is going to fall victim, be the second victim to Zachary Fitzwater Sr. today. Gets wrecked coming out of the corner. Heavy contact with the wall. We hope he's all right after that one, but the car was definitely not. He would go out of the race. Let's go on board with the Air Hogs machine. Going through that section, Zachary Fitzwater just turns him. Makes heavy contact with the wall. That is scary contact. He would go to the care center afterward. Hopefully we get a good word on him. Car number 88, Sylvain Lasalvage, is battling with Daniel Voiles going through this section of the course. Drives it a little bit too wide and goes dirt tracking on the outside lane. Loses a couple spots on this one. Gets passed by Zachary Fitzwater. Maybe you want to stay away from him today. Sylvain Lasalvage able to save it though. I'm surprised that car didn't just dig into the sand there. But he keeps it going. We got a car around. Looks like it's the 900 of Tylor Thaber. Thaber was running up there in the fifth or sixth place position. Gets to the inside of Tommy Turbo and spins himself out going through that corner. And he was not happy over the radio, to say the least.
Really? A fucking spin out? Fucking shit. God
Tylor Thaber helping the job security of our sensors. They're going to have a little bit of extra work after this race. Meanwhile, up near the front, Ali Nelson in car number 96 is getting challenged by Tony Green in the Golden Corral car. Going to the inside, now outside. Tony Green's going to slingshot by Ali Nelson. Now, Tony Green, this is a prime example of a man who has been great all season long, just has had the horrible luck in the late stages. He's been so close to victory on several occasions, most notably Jennerstown. He had a very good run over there, but he keeps running into mechanical issues and wrecks. He's out front now, but here comes Scott Roush in the 696. He's going to make it 3 wide through that tight corner, and he's going to go to the lead for himself. Now, Scott Roush running a special scheme this weekend, a tribute scheme to Robert Yates, who passed away before the start of this event. So, a real sad occurrence there. He's hoping to get this Yates number 696 a good run today. And right now, it's flying on the racetrack. He is pulling away from second and third place. He's got quite a few car lengths down, and that gap seems to be growing as he goes along. Scott Rouse definitely having some equipment today. He was the winner of your rookie shootout earlier in the season. Jeffery Finguy is going to stall on the racetrack, and he is not too happy with his team.
We can't do anything right. We are a top-tier team. We need to act like it because we're a bunch of morons. We're a bunch of morons because we can't even get that right. We're a bunch of morons because we can't even do that right. What the is wrong with us? What the is wrong with me? What the is wrong with everything? What the is my life?
Jeffery Finguy a tad perturbed over the radio, but another driver who's not going to be too happy is going to be William Brock, the outside pole setter. He gets sent into the wall after John Christchurch makes a questionable move through that corner. I'm not sure what he was thinking in the 404, but as we've seen, Christchurch has not been much for thinking out here on the racetrack in his job as a replacement driver. A lot of drivers are going to slide in this wreck. It looks like a lot of people, I'm not sure if there's any oil on the racetrack from a previous incident or not, but a couple cars make some contact after the fact. Scott Roush in the lead, but the pack has caught up to him. It's a 5-car battle out front as Tony Green going to dive down to the inside yet again. This seems to be the prime passing zone on the racetrack. Tony Green back out front. Now, I'm not sure if Tony Green wants to be leading this much because every other time he's led this much, he's ended up wrecking out of the race. So hopefully he can keep it on track and win his first career HARC Series event, but he's got a lot of stiff competition behind him. All these drivers looking for a win today. Visnovsky, I think, the only driver with a win prior. Well, Allie Nelson might have a win. I honestly forget. 3 wide battle as Chris Dodd in the number 88A is trying to hold off a pack of cars. He got some damage in that stack up that we showed a little bit earlier. We have a report that I think the 69 of Tavalares got into the back of him. We haven't found a clip of it per se, but that's what they're saying on the radio. But 3 wide battle as Chris Dodd trying to hold off this raging pack of cars. Ooh, Eugene DeMax almost wrecks it on that straightaway, getting loose off the corner. Chris Dodd trying to keep his championship points in line. He's got a good shot at this championship title, so he really needs to keep every point he can get. We start to head toward the midway point of the season. These drivers are dogging him. Jeffery Finguy back out on the racetrack. The report, it's a battery issue.
Why do I have to deserve this? Why do I? I hate everything in my life. Can I just actually get something right for once? I don't care if the battery went, unless if this is divine intervention, you can just go rightly f*** off.
A trying season for Jeffery Finguy, indeed. He is currently 3 laps off the pace. He's going to try and finish this one out. Hopefully he can get some attrition to maybe pick up some points on the racetrack. Mike Visnovsky battling with Tommy Turbo in the U.S. Army Chevy. They head through the final corner, and the 23 gets into the back of the 3 and sends himself into the wall. Tommy Turbo would keep driving, but Mike Visnovsky has some heavy damage to his car. That would put an end to the day. Unfortunately, that momentum from last week is not going to carry. Oh, and he missed pit lane as well. So that is, he's going to have to run an extra lap around this racetrack at a very slow pace. Hopefully no one gets into him in that time. Fred Flintstone in the F1 has qualified very well today, and he's been excellent on these road courses, but an overly aggressive move is going to send the 74 of Brian Fox into the wall. Al Agassi is involved as well in the 0-1 machine. I don't think those two are going to appreciate that particular maneuver. Let's see what happened here. And yeah, it looks like the F1 just merged down into that line, sends the 74 car into the wall hard. That's been a difficult spot for these drivers today. Tony Tavalares is having one of his better runs of the season. Usually he's all the way mired back in the 30s or out of the race by this point. But that's not going to stop him from making some boneheaded moves, and he's going to cut right in front of the 30 of Bill Littlejohn, send him around. PJ Williams into the wall as well. He's probably one of the drivers that's been getting a lot of complaints this season from other competitors. Very inexperienced, but he's trying to learn week in, week out. So far, he's able to keep that car pointed forward at the very least. 2-car breakaway out front. Scott Roush and Tony Green definitely have the 2 best cars on the racetrack. It's just a matter of who is the better machine. Roush gets back by the 32 to retake the race lead, as he's had such a good event so far. Tony Green's been really trying to challenge him, and it's just been back and forth between these two. They can't seem to pull away from each other. Once one driver gets the lead, the other one starts sucking back up to the rear bumper, and then just getting by him in that passing zone that everyone's been using. But Scott Roush trying to keep in the lead as much as he can. John Arndt, car number 05, going to be the first car to go down pit road. This is quite early for the 05 machine. Lap 9 out of 26. I'm not sure if that's going to be able to make it to the end of the race, but maybe he's got a fuel strategy in mind. Not much damage on the 05, but trying to maybe work something out. He definitely doesn't have the winning machine today. The 696 runs it wide, almost into the dirt, and car number 32 is going to try and steal the race lead back. He gets it done on the outside line, arcing it through that corner. Very fast racetrack for these drivers, so they can make a lot of cool power plays like that. Scott Roush is not done, though. He's trying to get to the back bumper, trying to catch the number 32. He's got an opportunity here in the passing zone if he can just stay close enough to the 32. He's going to look to the inside. The 32 gets off track slightly. A mistake by Tony Green is going to hand Scott Roush the lead coming out of the corner. And Scott Roush back ahead of the 32. Not going to lead a lap this time round, as Scott Roush is going to try and get that most laps led bonus. Steal something away from Tony Green. Green in hot pursuit. He still has time in this race. We're not even to the halfway point yet. So we'll have to see what these two can do in the later stages. Car number 90, Eugene DeMax, running with this pack 3 wide in front of him. And Tony Tavares makes some contact with the 80. He's going to collect John Bunnell. And Eugene DeMax going to gain a couple positions. Capitalizing on that mistake by the 69 machine, I do not think John Bunnell was too thrilled about that maneuver. Chris Dodd, the number 88A, is going to pit early with damage. He knows he doesn't have a very quick race car. He figures he can maybe play the pit strategy game that John Arndt decided to play. He's going to pit on lap 10. Hopefully that will make it to the end on lap 26. Lap traffic for these race leaders, as Carl Endumian is in front of him. Now, Carl Endumian this year has been pretty stubborn. Got into Fitzwater earlier in this race, and also is responsible for that leader wreck at Watkins Glen. So these drivers are going to have to be careful around him. Scott Roush gets up into the gravel. Tony Green, though, is going to successfully make the pass to the outside. Or is he? Car number 1 of Carl Endumian is not giving these leaders an inch, and I think race control is going to have to say something about that. Scott Roush trying to look to the inside line. Almost loses it. Going to the inside of the 1. Still trying to get by the 1 all over the place. What is Carl Endumian doing? This is very unprofessional racing behavior, as the 696 is seeing the 32 get smaller and smaller in his windshield. Can he get by the 1? He's trying. Carl Endumian finally is going to get out of the way, but it's going to cost Scott Roush quite a few car lengths. 4 wide battle going to that passing zone. A couple cars make contact. Christian Hartono is going to cut across the front of Tylor Thaber in the number 900. Hartono, a mistake for a driver that we might win the championship. Thaber not happy.
Jeez, after 2 months off, I still don't have any luck.
Thaber unhappy with the 24. That would put the 900 car out of the race, but a little bit of instant karma for Christian Hartono. Gets rammed into by the 02 of Freddie Munoz. Unfortunately for Thaber, that still doesn't take Hartono out of the race, but it does take Freddie Munoz out in the 02, and that's a shame for that young rookie trying to make his name in the sport. And you can tell that the 900's got some damage. The wrecked car of Munoz is able to pass him with ease. We got to shout out car number 52, Daniel Voiles, having an excellent run today up in the 8th place position. He's currently battling with Zachary Fitzwater Sr. He was up to 7th at one point. Got passed by him. I could see why he let the 59 by, given what he's been doing today. But Daniel Voiles had that great run in Watkins Glen, had it taken away from him because of lap traffic, went barrel rolling down the front straightaway. He's hoping for a solid run today at Malaga. Battle up near the front, the 32 of Tony Green, the 696. Drag race, can Roush beat the 32 to the line? Not quite. And you know, that is going to maybe play a factor late in this race. If these two find themselves in the position on the last lap, we know that Tony Green, if he has that amount of distance, he can overpower the 696 ever so slightly. But Roush can be rest assured that he feels like he's got the better race car. He's got a lot more drafting help. Fred Flintstone's going to pit from 5th place on lap number 13, a little bit earlier than some of these other drivers for pit lane. He feels that maybe an early pit stop would be beneficial to him. We'll have to see if that will work out in the long run. A couple laps later, Scott Roush is going to get by the 32. It's going to be a battle. They're side by side, near evenly matched, and the 696 is going to get by him on this straightaway, the hill section of the racetrack. You can see there's a lap car of Benoit Lothair-Irvine right ahead of him. You're going to have to be careful with it. Irvine would eventually be caught on lap number 16. What can they do? And it looks like Carlin Dumian might be able to take some notes from Benoit Lothair-Irvine. He just lets him go. So the 15 got a little bit of a run coming out of the corner there, but I don't think he did that on purpose. The 32 just got a little bit loose. But yeah, Irvine just let the leaders go by. Something for the one car to maybe take note of. Car 66, Sam Curtis, up in the top 5. Not anymore. He's going to get turned by Zachary Fitzwater Sr. coming out of the final corner. A very uncalled for move considering that it's only lap 16 of this event. We've just passed the halfway point. We're not even close to the lap 26 mark yet. To be wrecking people for a spot is just ridiculous. The officials are going to take note. Leaders are going to pit the lap afterward. Just at the tail end of lap 16 going on to lap 17. Tony Green was able to lead them down. That might give him an advantage coming off pit road. See, Allie Nelson's going to go down too. Everyone would go down except for Zachary Fitzwater Sr. and Mark Hankins in the number 7. So you see the 59 fakes toward pit road. He's going to stay on the racetrack, take the race lead. Battle off pit road. Tony Green parks it right in front of the 696. Look at how close that battle off pit road was. Literally a bumper to get ahead of the number 696 of Scott Roush. Tony Green is going to be in the race lead, but Scott Roush is right there, able to strike if necessary. I think the 32 is hoping for a little bit quicker of a pit stop, as Roush was able to get the faster time on pit road, considering their gap went from a couple car lengths to no car lengths at all. Green starting to pull away on this long straightaway. He's going to try and see if he can gain some ground. He does not want the 696 behind him when he gets into that passing zone. Runs it a little too wide. Scott Roush trying the challenge to the inside line. Can he take the lead? Contact is made. Car number 696 is going to wreck the leader. Tony Green's into the wall. Scott Roush is into the wall. Their top two are wrecked. And Tony Green, once again, is taken out of a race after leading for a good portion of it. Let's take a look at this again. Let's see what happened here. Scott Roush is going to try and make the pass here. And it looks like he's just going to turn the number 32 machine. 32 car swung out a little bit, but I'm not sure if the 696 was completely innocent there. He's going to drive off from this one. Here's on board with the Yates machine. You can see going through this corner. Oh yeah, he comes up a bit. Scott Roush came up a bit coming out of the corner. He saw that he was there, pulled up, and turned the race leader that he's been battling with for the entire first half of this race. He's going to drive off, but he's got a little bit of damage. I'm not sure how that's going to affect him. Zachary Fitzwater Sr. would lead this lap once he comes down pit road. Lets the 09 by, and he's going to make his pit stop. The 7 would come down pit road as well. This, however, would play into Scott Roush's favor as he would end up taking the race lead away. But that heavy damage on that number 696, we'll have to monitor that situation because that car was lightning fast, but now he might have some handling issues on that car. Might allow some of these other drivers to catch up, but he had such a big lead going into pit stops that did not affect him in any way, shape, or form. Al Lagasse is trying to finish this one out in the Duluth car, but ooh, the engine's going to go in a bad spot. great job by the other 4 drivers there for not getting into him. And you know, props to Al Agassi. He noticed that something was going wrong. He pulled out of the line almost too late, but he just got out of there in the nick of time. Unfortunately for the 01 and the Legacy curse this season, it would appear, he goes out of the race in the late stages. PJ Williams, car number 26 in this multi-car battle going through this section of the course. And, oh, contact is made with Mitchell Carter. They both go around. Carter, heavy contact with the wall. He's going to go out of the race. PJ Williams continues onward. The officials are going to have a lot to look at the end of this one. Allie Nelson finds herself in second place. And as you can see, that gap is starting to lessen a bit between the leader and her. Scott Roush, as we mentioned, has damage to the back of his car, but Allie Nelson has a good machine and is slowly chipping away at that lap time. Can Allie Nelson catch up? She has 6 laps to do it. If she can just pick up enough ground to make that pass on the 696, she could find herself in victory lane here in Spain. But she's going to have to really work for it. She has no drafting help behind her. She'll just have to rely on the sheer muscle of the car and her own driving ability. Fred Flintstone is going to get passed by the 3 of Tommy Turbo to the inside line. Zachary Fitzwater Sr. there, and oh, contact is made between the 2! I don't know why Fred Flintstone keeps doing that coming out of that corner. He keeps trying to close the door, and that's going to be the end for him. He's going to go out of the race. For the first time, Zachary Fitzwater was not at fault for that incident. Scott Roush in the 696 is going to come up on lap traffic. That's Christian Hartono, has similar damage, but Scott Roush, they have quite the machine today. I am just absolutely surprised that he's able to keep this gap going. He's saying over the radio that it's an absolute pain to drive, but he's making it work. See, as you can see, he goes into the gravel trap there a bit. Keeps it going on the racetrack, but we have a report that the officials are looking at that wreck, so Roush might have some post-race ramifications to deal with. I guess he's trying to extend his lead as much as he can, just in case he gets a time penalty. Daniel Voiles in car number 52 finds himself now in 3rd place. He's not close to these leaders at the moment, but he's having such a good run in that 52 machine. Nothing has gone wrong today. He's really improved since the start of the year, when at Brasstown he spun out 3 times in 3 laps to almost winning at Watkins Glen, and then having a great run today. So great job for Daniel Voiles. Lap traffic in the form of car number 09 is going to hold up the 96. Brandon Chrasta was a bit of a roadblock last week as well. Now he's playing a factor into this race as well. Allie Nelson, not going to take it, tries wrecking the 09. He saves it. Still trying the battle. I don't know if Brandon Chrasta should be doing this. He's already on probation for what he did in Outlon Park, wrecking the leaders near the end and making a lot of really dastardly moves throughout that race. The 96 is going to get by, but that gap has not closed much. And Allie Nelson is running out of time on lap 23 of 26. Mark Hankins is having a great run up in the top 5. That pit strategy really paid off, pitting a little bit later than everyone else, but then tragedy strikes, a cut tire on the number 7. He might have hit some debris in that tight corner. Going to make the tire go on him, and he's going to end up having to pit for this one. And as you can see, all that hard work, all those positions, now lost, as Zachary Fitzwater Sr. is going to be the one that capitalizes the most off that late pit stop now. Mark Hankins a little bit disappointed, but he was having a decent run. At least he'll be able to finish this one if he can just hang on to it. We got to spotlight Bill Littlejohn in car number 30. He, in practice, is one of the slowest times. He didn't do very well in qualifying either, but he's been slowly picking his way up through the field. He now finds himself in 9th place. Also, shout out to Caden Van Evenhoven in car number 81. He started near the tail end as well. He's now in the top 10. Jerry Guerra also up ahead of them. Recovered from that early 4-wide battle to find himself up in the top 10 as well. Great job by some of these teams taking advantage of the high attrition rate that Malaga has been providing today. Bill Littlejohn having a good run. I believe this is his first time in race 1 as well. He was the last holdout as the last driver to not be in a specific race of our 2-race weekend. Scott Roush, car number 696, still finds himself in the lead on the final lap. Allie Nelson trying to gain some ground, but just doesn't have the car. I'm not sure if Allie Nelson just, used up her tires too much, battling the 09 or what. But Scott Roush going through this downhill section of the course, he's got the lead. The 96, not close enough, I do not think. We head into the final hairpin of the circuit. Going down through this corner. Lap traffic ahead of him, but he's not going to catch it. Allie Nelson makes some big strides on the last lap, but it's not going to be enough. Scott Roush, beaten, is going to get his first career HARC Series win in a non-exhibition event, since he won the Montgomery race earlier this year, which was a rookie battle. However, we are getting a report that the 696 will be allowed to keep his victory. However, he is not going to be receiving first place points. They have docked him all the way back into the mid-30s for his points run. So he'll get to keep that trophy, but for what he did to Tony Green, they are not going to give him full points for that. So a bit of a bittersweet end for Scott Roush and his Robert Yates tribute scheme. He's going to try and coast this back. Good job for him in terms of powering ahead of everyone, but that was a pretty low maneuver, wrecking Tony Green in that corner. So hopefully his team will have a talk with him, and that penalty will be a lesson for future races, since that is going to impact his championship run greatly. However, the action was still not over. Annie Thomas in car number 96, trailing near the end there. The car is going to stall out going through that tight corner, the main passing zone. I think this is why she was unable to catch the 696, because she had something going wrong. And, Daniel Voiles, we were so happy that you had a top 3 podium run, and then you go and do that. I don't know. Let's take a look at the top 10 results on track. Scott Roush was your winner, but not getting the points for it. Allie Nelson in second place, followed by Daniel Voiles at the podium. Tommy Turbo, a consistent day, he finishes in fourth. Sam Curtis gets his top 5 finish after all and beats Zachary Fitzwater. Sylvain Lasavage in the 88 finishes 6th, followed by Zachary Fitzwater Sr., though he might find some penalties after the race as well. Jerry Guerra, the hard charger, up to 8th place after a really poor start. Bill Littlejohn, top 10 for him. Great job for a driver who's not particularly good at the road courses. Caden Van Evenhoven rounds out your top 10.